Welcome back to the Teach Quit podcast. We're here talking about one of our favorite topics. Might sound like a downer, but we call it affectionately the Valley of Despair.
The Valley of Despair, the Trough of Sorrow.
Or as it's called in Pilgrim's Progress, I think it's called the Slough of Despond.
It sounds like something from the fire swamp from Princess Bride. That's what it sounds like.
Which, by the way, I'm Kelly. It's my friend Lindsay. Just to introduce ourselves.
That's who we are.
Again. But this podcast exists to provide tools and conversations for Bible teachers. And we would be failing you if we did not talk about something that is a part, in our opinion, of every single message prep process. So, Lindsay, give us a definition maybe for the Valley of Despair. What are we talking about?
The definition of the Valley of Despair is the moment that we think all teachers encounter in their preparation where they've hit some type of wall or despair in which you feel like everything you've written is not worth saying. You are not the right person to say it. You cannot make headway. And you're like, I'm going to quit and never do this again. That's not like a succinct definition, but it's the point of despair. It is the point of despair in yourself and your words in this moment that's going to happen.
It's usually the moment where you almost give up.
Yes.
And you decide someone else would be better. All your words are dumb. Why did I think I could do this? I don't know anything. I thought I knew something when I started off on this journey. I had a wonderful idea. I had a clear sense of what this text was about, what I wanted to say. And now it does feel like one visual I have is it's like when you decide to clean out a closet. And it's the moment.
Everything gets worse before it gets better.
Everything is out of the closet, spread all over your house, and you're sitting on the floor in the middle of all your stuff. And you think to yourself, this was a terrible idea.
I cannot
do this. Which I think is functionally what's happening in this moment is you have dug so deep into a text or a topic or your own heart that you're literally swimming in ideas and thoughts, which is a really important, healthy part of the process, but it can feel really overwhelming at that moment.
Yep.
When you're trying to pick up the pieces and move forward from there.
Right. You get lost. You can get lost in the content that you had originally been accumulating to say. Like, have all these, I'm trying to do great research. I'm trying to do my job looking at my audience. How do I say it to them? And there's another aspect of this that has to do with us and our motivation.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, you can also start to overthink yourself. Yeah. I'm dumb. I don't have anything good to say. Someone else is going to say it better. I'm disqualified for these reasons. You can even begin to really overthink your audience, especially if it's somehow an audience that feels like they're a big deal. It's either people you really care about, someone who could be there's really important to you. There could be a price tag attached to this moment.
Yes.
Which is a pressure that I don't think, at least for me, I never encountered till it happened, that it's like, well, great, they're paying me to do this thing, and now it's garbage, and that feels worse because they're paying for it. If it was free, that'd be one thing. Yes. So there's also, one, your content can drive you there because now you're covered like the closet and stuff, but then internal things about you and your audience can also bring you to this place.
That's a really great point because I definitely dealt with that. One of the first times I ever got hired to speak somewhere and I was getting paid for it. I mean, I instinctually was like, I have to do amazing at this and honor this investment. I feel so thankful. And like, I don't want to disappoint you. Right. And now I'm actually, we call it, you're preaching or teaching to the back of the room. Now, I'm not actually thinking about my actual audience that I've been asked to speak to. I'm thinking about the person who hired me or the people I'm trying to honor or impress. And then it's all wacky in your own heart. And it's like you can't see straight sometimes in that moment. And it feels so discouraging. Let's maybe share a couple recent times that this has happened.
Where this has happened. I know yours is recent. So
okay, maybe I'll start with mine first. Very recently.
Yes.
Like less than a month ago. Okay, hired to speak at a conference. And really excited. I was really excited about the text. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. I love that passage. I just with joy and delight had been studying it, deep diving in it, really had an actual pathway forming through the text. I ran it by other people and it was like, this is great. And then as we got closer and as I started going through it more and more with people, I was like, man, this intro doesn't feel like it fits. And then other pieces started to not fit. And I had a moment where I realized I think this outline is actually trash. It isn't really helpful at all. Because I tried to explain it to somebody and a friend of mine had enough questions about it that I was like, oh, it's not simple enough. And I just sat down in my house and cried.
Yeah.
And just stared at my bookshelves and thought, I have nothing good to say. How is this possible? I've been studying this passage. So discouraging. I feel like there is spiritual warfare, right? For every Christian all the time that we're dealing with. And in that moment, just accusational darts are flying. The reason that I can't make it through this is because I'm not living the text. You know, I'm studying it, but it's not playing out in my real life. And so I'm feeling personally accused and then I'm feeling like a failure. And I'm literally I'm leaving for this conference in like 24 hours. What do I do with that? It feels so discouraging. And it feels so like, I think that the lie that I hope this episode addresses is this, that when you find yourselves there, if you find yourself there, that's a sign that you're not good at this or that you've done something wrong.
That's the lie.
That's the lie. That's what I believe. Oh, I clearly am not a good Bible teacher because I'm here. If I were better, this wouldn't happen. It's normal to be there. That's one of the reasons we want to do an episode about that. That I now know I've been doing this long enough that even when I hit that moment recently, I was like, oh, yes, I don't like it, but this is really familiar. It happens all the time. I call my husband who preaches regularly, and he was like, Kelly, this happens to me every week I preach a sermon. You know that because you're on the other side of my phone calls telling me, babe, you're going to make it. It's going to come together. Just, so it's normal to be there, which is why we want to tell these stories. Yeah. It's not a sign that you're not good at it or you're doing it wrong. It's normal.
Yes.
Anyway, do you have a time that comes to mind?
I have one that I have two. I'll share one later, but this one I'm thinking of because it matters for what you just said. I was able to give a message once that went well. Later on in the rhythm of our church, that same thing happened again. I was able to give the same message. I actually think that's a huge gift when you get to do it twice. So I went back looking at my notes, looking for that message that I gave about a year before and said, that was really good. I liked it. Let's see if I can pray over that, see if I need to make any changes. What happened is I found version 1 and I started reading it, my manuscript. And I was like, this is okay, but it's not, this doesn't feel familiar. This doesn't feel engaging. It was kind of boring. It was kind of clunky. And I just was like, I just remember feeling more about this message. This doesn't seem it. Then I kept looking through my computer. Then I found version 2. Version 2 was very different. Content, I'm dealing with the same thing. Right. It was a very different, distinctly more vulnerable, distinctly more powerful in the confidence that I'm giving people. This is who Jesus is. This is what he does. The flow was better. All these things were better. And when I looked at both of them, they had the same, summer of 20 whatever. I was going, what happened here? These are two very different messages. The difference between those two messages was the valley of despair. Because I remembered. I went, oh gosh, I remember now. Version 1 came out and I was like, ugh. This is terrible. This is garbage. I don't like it in my words, but I know I feel something really big. God help me. How do I say this? How do I do everything I'm hoping I can do and it's not coming out right? And then I went into a valley of despair, which caused me to pray and to lean on him and to look to him and to ask for friends to pray for me. Yep. And then the second message came through and it made all the difference. And so we do want to reassure you, the valley of despair is normal, and more than that, the valley of despair is where the good comes out, so don't avoid it. Don't avoid it. I would say you don't always, it's just a spectrum of how bad the valley is, right? But don't try to avoid it. There's too much good. There's too much good that can be formed in you in that valley, and there's too much good that God is doing to try and circumvent it. Right. And we're even seeing, I think God had reasons for your recent valley of despair that have to do with you depending on him getting all the glory. Right. That it's would not want that message to go any other way for you. Exactly. It's I know it was despair and crying and fear and yet now on the other side, it's Worth it.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Well, you're kind of getting into kind of this next big question we wanted to tackle, which is why does this even happen?
Yeah.
Why does it happen? And I think you're hitting on the biggest one. I think it happens because it's good for us.
Yes. Yeah.
And in Jesus's loving kindness toward us, who people are going to pick up his word and teach about it and handle it. It is a great gift to keep us needy and dependent and humble and desperate for him, to not get to the point where we're like, yep, I don't know how to teach this thing. I got it. Like, what a gift to always have that to go, I don't know if I got it. I got to pray. I got to seek you, Lord. I don't know what's going on. It is, I think that's one gift, is it's a gift of dependence, is why it's happening. It's just the Lord has built it in to the process. And I think this is kind of related, but one other reason I think that happens is it's forming something in us, that there's something being shaped in me through that tiny trial. It's like a little, it's not a huge trial, period, but it is a type of suffering where you're crying or worried or fighting things. And there's holiness being formed in me as I'm praying and on my knees and asking for help and trying to humble myself. And we've said this, well, we said it on the podcast, the best thing you bring to any moment of teaching is your transformed presence.
That's right.
And so for God to build in a moment of transformation and hiddenness with him that people don't see is a great gift to the moment of teaching, that I come in freshly tenderized and desperate. As I talk about his word. So I think there's a couple of reasons why it happens that are, I think, just built in by the Lord for us, that are like, don't avoid it. He's got a good thing here for you.
Right. I had a portrait of whatever it would look like for me to use the teaching gifts that I had. And I think I fantasized about being, I would like live in this unbroken confidence and enjoyment of that moment. And time after time, God has reminded me of that he's way more interested in me still using these gifts for the sake of his body, but me doing it terribly dependent and weak, because that's the better place to be. That's what Paul talks about so much. Like when I'm weak, then I'm strong. And so getting the muscles of trusting God in that kind of despair and in that kind of weakness, it's transformed from, oh no, I feel weak, to like, oh good, I feel weak, because now he's going to do that. There's so much to learn to do a thing dependent on Jesus is the bigger win, is the hugest win. And to be able to teach while dependent, feeling weak, is a huge work. And he is sanctifying us and changing our hearts. Sometimes this is helpful for me. On some level, like, this is reality. There are too many wonderful things to be said about God's word and about him. And there's a moment for me to worship, because I feel a paranoia that I can't say it as big or exhaustive as how I feel it and how I see it in the word. And there's a paralysis sometimes in that. But for me, there's been like there's going to be more in that book, and there's more in the character of God, that all of eternity's praises will not exhaust. So you surely won't exhaust him now. That's good. It lets me worship him. God, there's all the words and all the languages and all the universe couldn't say everything about you. So I'm just going to worship you. And now can you use my limited by design, limited words to tell limited people just one little wonderful thing about you. And it liberates me from a paranoia of being exhaustive and saying everything as big as it really is. The reality is I can't. All the heavens can't contain him. How much more of this little thing that I'm saying? But that's been liberating. That's been like, then worship. Then the goal is worship. And then you get to say your part, which matters.
That's great. I think that's a huge reason why that happens, is our aspirations for what we want to achieve and accomplish are higher than we have the ability to do. And it feels frustrating. Like,
it does.
I have felt the same valley of despair moments in book projects as well, writing projects, where that's part of the equation for why it feels so despairing, is I have this great vision and desire for, like, this is what needs to be accomplished, and this is all the things I want people to feel, and I want them, and it comes from a good place. I want God to be glorified, and I want people to be changed and see how awesome he is, and they're all good things. But ultimately, only God can accomplish those things. So it's settling into that limited nature that we have, and I'm just this tiny little person who can only say a few things, and I have to say them at the exclusion of other things. And I want to say all the things, but I only have 20 minutes to teach. You're like, I want to say it all and I can't. And that can feel discouraging to know how to do that. And it can feel like, what do I cut? Yeah. It all matters. And so you do get paralyzed from that. I think too, we've seen a few things online before that are not from Christian sources, that are just about the creative process.
Yes. Oh yeah, totally. Yes. Oh, I wish maybe we could put that picture in.
The chart. We'll put the chart in somehow. There's a chart that I found that it's about the creative process, and it starts on a mountain of the idea generation part. The spark of an idea is like euphoric. You're on this high. Yes. And then you just start trudging downward, and there's a valley. I forgot what they called it. Probably despair. You want to give up. You hate the idea. And then it talks about getting back up. And what matters too is like once you get back up out of the valley, coming out of the valley, your plateau on that other side is actually lower than the idea. The idea was this high. Never quite as great as you want it to be.
And that was just any creative process. This didn't even have anything to do with teaching the Bible. It was just like, this is the creative process. So there's just a reality to idea generation, creating something like a message, the creative process, that there is a valley in it as part of it. It's built in.
It's built in, which is, again, to remind you, you're not doing anything wrong. Doesn't mean you're bad at this.
Nope.
And, we tell people a lot in our program too, who go through this process. They're experiencing it as they teach those 3 times in our program. They're hitting that moment. They're getting to recognize that many other people are there too. And then one of the things that they feel on the other side is, I need to pray for my pastor. Every week. Every time. And we're like, you absolutely do, because he is going through this every week. That he is weathering that storm of, oh no, it's terrible. Am I going to have another sermon again by Sunday? And people don't believe me when they come up to me on Sundays at our church and they'll ask about Jimmy, my husband, or our lead pastor. And they're like, there's no way that happens to them. I'm like, every week they text each other and go, I'm just pray for me. I don't know if I'm going to have a sermon by Sunday. In that process of studying and writing, it's part of it. It's normal. Okay, so if it's normal, how do we make it through?
How are we going to survive this thing?
How do we survive the valley of despair?
To survive the valley of despair, you need some friends called prayer and actual friends. You mentioned, Kelly, I mean, you kind of said it when you were talking about your story. It was like you hit this valley and then you just went in your room and cried, but you prayed.
Yes.
And praying, to state the obvious, is necessary, so necessary. You have a very real Holy Spirit who is with you, who's a counselor, a guide, a comfort. And the most practical way to lean on him is to talk to him and to pray and to give yourself potentially extra space for prayer. Block some things out. Get into some quiet. Get to where you can cry and tell him everything you're feeling. Get to a spot where you can be quiet enough to listen. Listen. Sometimes the valley of despair is you get a clear outline. Sometimes the valley of despair lifts because you just really needed to hear from him. I love you no matter the outcome. And that's the dam that breaks, right? So you got to be talking to him in enough honesty and consistency, and also time to be listening and hearing from him about this. So prayer would be number 1.
Yes, prayer is number 1. That's what you do when you hit the valley of despair. You go and pray. The other thing that we both lean on is community.
Yes.
People. You have to have people to text or call and say, hey, I'm in the valley of despair. I'm in the trough of sorrow, whatever you want to call it. I am there.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm going to make it through, and I need encouragement, and I need prayer.
Yes.
And that can be really hard to ask for.
Yep.
It feels in the moment. Here's what I always feel. These people, I pull up a text. I've got their names already ready to go in the little to thing, and I'm starting to type a message, and I see all their names, and I know everything they're going through. And I know the problems they're facing in their lives, and I know the challenges, and I know the ways I want to be praying for them, and I can slowly talk myself out of, this is so silly. I'm just trying to prep a Bible message. Am I really going to reach out and ask for help in this? It can be hard to do this, but I cannot make it through without people. And I've learned that now, that I need the community of other sisters in Christ to pray for me. Bible teachers or not Bible teachers, to just say, guys, here's where I'm at. And when this recent time happened, That's exactly what I did.
Yes,
I sent
you
a text out to a fairly large group and said, I'm about to change my entire message. What to? I don't know. I am not okay.
Enough too that when I saw the text come through, I thought, oh my.
Yeah.
If she's texting this and it's this intense, something is happening.
Something's happening. And yeah, you sent encouragement immediately. Other people reached out and sent messages, voice memos, like I'm praying for you. And I they felt like crutches that I made it through that day to just continue praying and believing, going, okay, no, Lord, it's not because I was foolish and I wasted my time. I've been very proactive about this message. I was fighting off those lies, though. That if I were better at this and more proactive, this wouldn't be happening. But I needed friends to fight those lies. I needed friends to carry me in prayer.
Yep.
I needed their encouragement. Encourage one another every day so you won't be hardened by sin, right? Hebrews 3. I needed that encouragement. You have to have a group of people to text. And the benefit is, this is back to why this happens. They also become the people who share your joy when it goes well. And we get to collectively recognize the fruit of any good happening in that Bible teaching moment is not me.
Totally.
It's Jesus remains the hero in that, which is so what he's after, is that we would all in humility see all of that everything he's entrusted as a gift from him and for him. And I now have a community of people who bear witness to my weakness and the strength God brings out of that weakness, which protects me again in the aftermath to not just go, wow, look at all that happened and all these good things people are saying to me after I did it. It's like you were with me at this recent conference where I taught, standing in line, hearing people tell me the ways that God used that message. And it's like I literally have a witness next to me that knows this happened because the Lord saw me through. It's not because I'm smart and a genius or anything like that. I'm a dependent woman who sought the Lord, and he answered, and he gets the glory, that he gets all the boasting. It's a protection, but you need people. Okay, so
teaching
Lindsay,
is a team sport. You cannot do it. You should not be doing it alone, but you cannot. It's impossible.
Okay, so for the person doing it alone who's listening to this, give her some next steps.
Yeah.
What do we do? What if somebody's listening? They're like, I don't even know who would I reach out to. I've been doing this alone for so long. I don't know how to do that.
If you are mostly alone, been doing this alone, and you're like, gosh, I would really like that. I would still say, do you have friends who love you and care about you? Start there. There can be an hesitation because if they don't teach, they don't understand. It'd be great if they understand. The goal is, do they love you and will they pray for you? Do you have just two friends who you know love you and would pray for you? Even if they don't understand everything that's happening, do you have that? Then start there. Start there, Yeah. Two people who love you, care about you, and would pray for you. And also, if you're still wanting to add more to that, ask God to bring people to mind. He will, that can pray for you, that are in the midst of that.
And it might even be a good practice. Maybe if you're like, type A list person, right? And you get your next Bible teaching opportunity and you start that process of, I'm going to set aside time to work on this and study. Maybe what shows up at the beginning of that to-do list for that message is, who are those people? I'm going to text them at the beginning of this process and say, hey, I've just been asked to teach on this topic, on this text to this audience. It's coming up. I'm about to start prepping. Would you pray for me? Would you be praying for me? And would you mind if, as we go, as needed, I reach out with asks for prayer and encouragement? Would you do that? I've in seasons of writing done this where I've just put together, here are the days I'm writing, and I've asked my friends to pick a day. And go, will you just commit to pray for me just once, for just a tiny brief moment in the day, to just set aside some time to pray for me and just be there for me if I hit a bad discouragement pothole, and go, I'm not okay that I know this person said they'd pray for me today. And again, it's really humbling. I really, that's been a challenge for me to fight for that, because I so love praying for others that it's really hard for me to ask for it. But I continue to see so much good fruit from it in my own humility, in the protection it is for my heart, and in the ways my joy is now shared.
Right.
But to make it part of your list and your planning and your prep, to go,
as you
gonna reach out,
ask for prayer from people around you.
Yes,
because you need it.
And then when the valley of despair hits, you'll know already. These are the people that I text. These are the people
by
that I
myself
text,
in it,
and ask them to pray for me. You need people
so much.
Yes.
What's another thing people can do is, if they're If they know they're headed in or they're going in, is there anything else you can think of that's like, remember this, or go here, or do this?
Well, what the Valley of Despair naturally does for you as a Bible teacher is it actually pulls you away from your message prep because you're like, you don't know what to do anymore. You're like, what am I even doing with my life? That's the feeling.
Yeah.
And sometimes leaning into that's a help for me, meaning physically going outside, like if I'm inside working, just physically removing myself from it to go be with the Lord, to just go, you know what? I'm going to sing some worship songs. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to pray. I'm going to call a friend. That's, again, it's in that prayer community is really the two things we keep talking about in different varieties. But sometimes it's asking a friend to pray. Sometimes it's calling a friend to go, I'm just discouraged. Can I talk it out with you? Can I process? You and I have both done that in the Valley moments for our own message prep is just gotten another set of eyes and ears on what we're working on. That's kind of a practical thing, but to go, I think it's a lie to think Bible teaching needs to be only my ideas, all my ideas, curated in isolation just with me and the Lord, and then presented to others with no other voices speaking into it. And sometimes I think that we think that way.
Right.
But it's actually these moments of discouragement that begin to get me out of that. I need help from others.
Yes.
And so I'll reach out after the crying, after that's from prayer, when I come back to the mess of my thoughts and still don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to someone else and go, can I just tell you, can I just talk it out? And you tell me what you're hearing and what makes sense and what doesn't. And maybe that'll help clarify some stuff. And oftentimes it does.
Yeah.
So that's also another use of community that has helped me get out of it. But sometimes you're just waiting it out.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I've had valleys of despair that went through the valley, prayed through, community prayed for me. I came out on the other end with a message that was better. But I've also just had to teach while still feeling like I was barely on the edge of still that valley of despair.
Yeah.
Which is not to be discouraging, but like I've had to just get up.
Me too.
And by faith, I don't mean just grind it out. I mean, I was like, Jesus, you know how I feel about this message. You know the ways that I feel like I didn't come together. You know that I prayed. You know that I prepped. You know that I looked at the text. And something about it just still, maybe it's just me, but I still just feel like, oh, I wish I was giving you guys my best. And this is somehow still not my best one. But I think that you're more powerful than my sense of how this is not right. You're still more powerful and more effective. Your word is more powerful and effective than me feeling great about this. I've been telling myself a little bit like confidence is not necessary. Like confidence in me and my words is not necessary.
Right.
If I can say he can do anything, he can speak through anyone. He's chosen to use me and his word is powerful and he is. It's okay that I feel messy about this messy message. And I've gotten up and taught anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't love that. I really don't love that. But I've also been a witness to God still using that.
He still uses it.
Still uses it.
He can use anything. I think about Paul talking about himself in 2 Corinthians saying, you guys say about me, his letters are strong, but his presence is weak and his speech is bad. I mean, it's literally, they're like, you're not good at this, Paul, and still he shows up. Because he believes in the power of the word of God over his own fancy words. It's like, I'm not going to come with eloquent wisdom. The gospel is powerful on its own, which is so ironic that message I'm talking about most recently, that was my text. So as I was in that valley, I was like, I'm literally writing and teaching about, I don't need fancy words.
But I'm trying to put together words.
To put my words together.
Yep.
It's very difficult. It can feel so discouraging. And we're just sharing this to go, I hope it makes you feel normal.
Don't give up.
And seen. And this is not something strange happening to you.
It's normal.
But you do need to prepare for it. With prayer and with friends.
Buckle up, because it's coming.
It's coming.
And pray and get your friends so you can talk through it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, Kelly, this is awesome. I always
Great.
love talking to you about this. This is one of our favorite subjects.
It
so
is.
you can see why, okay? The valley of despair is actually to make us more dependent and looking to Jesus for all of our power. So it's worth it.
Yep.
So if you like this podcast, if you're enjoying the Teach You Quit podcast, please, we would love for you to comment. I mean, tell us what the Valley of Despair has taught you. Tell us what you hate about it, but tell us what God has taught you.
We want to hear your stories.
Tell us your stories of those valleys. Let's normalize that. And then also, if you like the podcast, please, we would love it if you would subscribe to it, rate it. It really helps it get a little bit more exposure, and share it with your friends who also teach the Bible, because we just want to keep talking about these subjects that teachers deal with, and to bring you into the community and the conversations that we're having about teaching regularly. So thanks for listening.
See you next time.